Hi everyone, welcome to Tableau Module 2. In this module, we will be going over how to create a bar chart and more specifically a lollipop plot, which will be a fun implementation based on something we learned about earlier this semester. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is, so I created a new sheet by clicking this. I'm going to rename this to bar lollipop plot. Sweet. So what we're going to do here is I want to create a bar chart that has the um, health percentage expenditures of GDP. I want that to be on the um, x-axis, and then I want the country name to be on the rows. So that'll be on our Ys. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this, I'm going to drag this to the columns. And you see it already created just one bar, which represents the summed up percentage of uh, health expenditure uh, of GDP spending all into one bar. So this basically it's very nonsensical because you can't have a percentage that's this high of a value, and this is representing how much the whole world spent on GDP from the period of 2000 to 2012. So we're going to fix this with the following two steps. So second thing we're going to do is we're going to take country and we're going to drop it onto rows. And now we have the percentages of GDP per country. However, right now we're seeing this health percentage expenditure of GDP. We're seeing that um, on an aggregated level for across the 12 years in the data set. So what we're going to do is we are going to take the year and we're going to throw that back onto pages like we did in the previous module. So now we see that every country is going to have a different health expenditure per year, and we can kind of just watch how this flows over time. So now this is very granular, and this is representing what we want. And we've already created a bar chart. So um, sometimes you might just want to stop here, but we're gonna keep going just to make this a little bit more fun, and we're gonna create a lollipop plot. So the way we're gonna do that is we are going to basically take this and we're gonna kind of hack around this, and we're going to take the same exact column and we're going to plop it right there next door. So right now we see kind of two identical um, plots that right next to each other. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this, right click, and we're going to scroll down and we're going to go to dual axes. So right now you'll see that we created a dual axis where we have health expenditure here and here. But why are we seeing these points? We didn't indicate that we wanted that. Well, that's because Tableau did this automatically. So in this marks feature, what we need to do is we need to go and access these separate um, aggregations of the health expenditure percentage of GDP. So what we're going to do is right here, I am going to change the mark type. So instead of automatic, where it shows a circle marker, we're going to go to bar. So perfect. So now we have a bar, and then you can see this little circle right here. That's the marker. So what we're going to do here now is with this bar, we can go click on size. We can actually decrease the size of the bar charts. So make them thinner. And see now we're kind of seeing um, the lollipop plot being formed a little bit here. So I'm just going to decrease that size, make it a little thinner right there. And conversely, I'm going to go over to um, the circle marker, and I want to increase this size just so it's a little bolder. Yeah, there we go. And maybe just a little bit smaller right there. Yeah, and you guys can play around with this to see how you like it, and kind of um, work on that. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to add color to this. So I'm going to go back to all marks because this will now control both of these. So kind of a global setting. So what I'm going to do here now is I'm going to take the infant mortality rate percentage and I'm going to drop that onto color just to keep this consistent throughout each of our plots. So we'll see that the countries with the highest infant rates right now, they have the darkest blue. And to change the color, I already showed you the implementation here. The other way of doing this is you can go to color, you can click on color, you go to edit color, and then you can choose the palette. And the palette we've been using is this red gold one. So we're going to click it, we're going to apply it, and then we're going to click OK. So now this color palette is going to be exactly the same as on this map, which will make a lot more sense when we put this all together for an interactive dashboard. So now that we've kind of created the lollipop plot, I want to basically do some finishing touches on this before we move forward to the next step. So as we can see, we have our details here are we have the country name when we highlight over it. We have the year we have that we're seeing. We have the infant mortality rate and the health expenditure percentage, which is really cool and granular. So what we're gonna do now is I am going to reset that. I want to order this by in decreasing order. So we see that these countries have to spend the most on their um, health expenditure, but then we can also see that the colors that are red, this shows us that, these countries are spending a lot, but we're not seeing good infant mortality rates. So that's kind of what we wanted to accent here. So what we're going to do now is I want to get rid of one of these dual axes. We don't need both. So I am going to click on show header and I'm just going to get rid of that. So we got rid of the header because it's repetitive because it's showing the same thing. And I am going to, I want to move this up. So I just dragged and dropped this up to the top. And then I'm going to rename this. So I clicked on this and I'm going to go to edit title. And then I'm going to do the same thing I did in the last module. So these all look the same. And I'm gonna press OK. And I'm going to edit this as well. So just get rid of the year and boom. We are ready to go. We already created the lollipop plot, which was pretty quick and efficient in Tableau. So now we are going to move to the next implementation, which we're going to create a highlight table. So this is basically a table which you also add color to the background. So it can really enhance what the message you're trying to convey to the viewer because it attracts the viewer's eyes to certain um, places on the table rather than others. So I am going to rename this. So I'm going to call this a highlight table. And let's start moving things onto here. And I will walk you through this. So what we're going to do for the highlight table is we need to take, so this column here, this is automatically generated by Tableau, and this is the measure names. This just is a placeholder for all of the column names that we will be using. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that up top on the X's because this is our column headers. This is what it's going to be a placeholder for now. Um, and then I'm going to take the country and I'm going to put that on the rows. So right now we're kind of seeing the table start forming because Tableau knows that we are mapping two categorical variables against each other right now. So it is already inferring that we're going to be making a table. So now let's add some detail into this table, like what we actually want to show. So we want to show the infant mortality rate. So we're going to add that into here.